in some ways it makes it kind of like more fluid, more ethereal, like easier to take with you, more portable, right? And so in some ways has kind of moved it away from that, the more kind of like material, you know, you have the vinyl record, you have the CD, right? And it has a finite amount of music on it. We start to see these playlists curated for us by really sort of powerful and sophisticated algorithmic recommendation systems that kind of process the data that we provide these platforms, right? In many ways, Spotify is really invested in selling itself as a global company, right? It started in Sweden. It was for a long time primarily available only in Europe, or primarily in Europe, and you know, only kind of later was introduced to the U.S., to parts of Asia, most recently in the Middle East and North Africa. So it's kind of like steadily globalizing. Part of the issue is not just the will of whether Spotify does or doesn't want to be in a particular part of the world. Part of it is sort of the cost of a platform making itself available in more places, having to deal with kind of local content regulations and regulations on media, but also having to negotiate distribution and licensing deals with the major record companies, right? So like, I think they're continually trying to make these sort of global or more sort of international deals to license and stream music. But one of the things that they're doing is trying to kind of really brand themselves as global. I think it's important to support the artist and not just the streaming platform, right? And I would be, you know, I'd be a hypocrite if I, you know, just said that we shouldn't use streaming platforms, because I do. I have a Spotify subscription, and so, you know, I'm sort of complicit in some of that as well, right? But it's worth remembering that it's really hard for artists to make really any legitimate amount of money through many of these streaming platforms. Some of them, you know, are better than others in that regard, but it's important, I think, to do things that if you really want to support an artist, a musician, to not just stream their music on Spotify or Apple Music, right? But to buy their albums, buy the merch, see them live, that sort of thing.